We finished our discussion about polydactyly, and now the second genetic inherited disorder we're going to talk about is cystic fibrosis. Cystic fibrosis is caused by a recessive allele, so it must be inherited from both parents. It can only express itself in the homozygous state. Children affected by cystic fibrosis are usually born to parents who do not suffer from the disorder. Their parents have a dominant healthy allele masking the cystic fibrosis allele, both parents in this case, which means their bodies work normally. However, even if they are healthy, they can carry the recessive cystic fibrosis allele, and it can be masked by the healthy dominant allele. Because it gives no symptoms, they have no idea it's there. These people are known as carriers. In the UK, 1 person in 25 carries the cystic fibrosis allele. Most of them will never be aware of it. The only situation where they might find out that they were carriers of cystic fibrosis is if they mate with another carrier of cystic fibrosis and they have a child who inherits both alleles. So if two parents who are heterozygous for the cystic fibrosis allele have 4 children, there's a 25% chance that each child will have the disorder. In fact, all 4 children could have cystic fibrosis, or none of them might be affected. This is all probability and not certainty. They might all be carriers, or none of them might inherit the faulty alleles at all. It's down to chance. This is a genetic diagram for predicting the ratios of children who are going to inherit the disease, if they're going to be carriers of the disease, if they're going to have cystic fibrosis, or if they're going to be homozygous healthy. So the dominant allele is for normal metabolism, it's capital C. The recessive allele is the allele for cystic fibrosis, it's lowercase c. We have 2 heterozygous parents, they're both carriers, so we place their gametes, they have capital C and lowercase c alleles. So we know this by now. If gamete A from parent 1 mixes with gamete A from parent 2, we will have a homozygous dominant. This offspring is healthy and is not a carrier. If gamete A of parent 1 mates with gamete B of parent 2, we will have a heterozygote. This offspring is a carrier. If gamete B of parent 1 mates with gamete A of parent 2, then we will have a heterozygote carrier who is healthy phenotypically. And if gamete 2 of parent 1 joins with gamete 2 of parent 2, we will have, in this case, a patient of cystic fibrosis. This is a homozygote recessive. So 2 out of 4 times we get heterozygote carriers, 1 out of 4 times we get normal homozygote, and 1 out of 4 times we get homozygote affected by cystic fibrosis. So it's the 1 to 2 to 1 ratio that we discussed earlier. As for the phenotype, 75% of the time, or 3 out of 4 times, they're going to be normal, whether it's homozygote normal or heterozygote, and 1 out of 4 times there's a chance of cystic fibrosis. But again, it's important to stress that these are predictions and chances. 2 heterozygote parents can mate and have multiple children, and they could all be healthy, or they could all be affected, or they could all be carriers. This is just a prediction of probability.